the school beauty star handed me a breakfast milk box. I immediately turned around and gave it to a wandering woman outside the campus gate. All because I had been reborn. In my previous life, that school beauty had a system. This system could use breakfast milk to exchange for other people's beauty. She became more and more beautiful. She even got signed by a famous entertainment company before graduation. With the title of the most beautiful school beauty, she stepped into stardom, and me, from a school beauty recognized by everyone, suddenly became the famous ugly girl of the whole school. In the end, I was pushed into the river to drown by people she arranged. Living life again. If she wants to exchange beauty, then I will choose a face for her that even ghosts will be scared of. Lily, here's fresh milk, strawberry flavor for this morning. Drink it while it's hot. Ivy placed a milk box in front of me, her face full of concern. Before I could speak, ear-piercing jeers rang out around us. Ivy is so kind. She cares about Lily every day. What good fortune does she have to have such a friend? Lily is also shameless, already so fat, still eating. Reducing the class's beauty. That's right. Really embarrassing for girls. If it were me, I would have started losing weight long ago. Ivy heard these words, a hint of triumph flashing in her eyes. She pushed the milk box towards me. What are you spacing out for? It was hard for me to buy it. Hurry up and drink it. If it were before, I would definitely be extremely grateful, thinking she was the most caring friend. But after living life again, I knew that this good friend was always using the system to steal my beauty. She transformed from an ordinary student with nothing outstanding when she first enrolled into the class monitor, loved by everyone. Now my weight increased day by day. My eyes became smaller and smaller, my pores became extremely coarse, and even black hair grew out. In this situation, I fell into an endless vortex of self-doubt. Classmates were instigated by her behind my back, alienating and isolating me. Now I laughed coldly and looked up. Ivy, didn't you hear everyone saying? They are all advising me to lose weight. I can't afford to lose face. I won't drink this milk, but your kindness can't be wasted. Anyone who wants to drink it can come and take it. As soon as these words came out, many boys in the class who admired Ivy immediately gathered around. There were also some friends who treated food as their life and whose weight was similar to mine. Ivy's face changed. She shouted, "No, this is what I bought for Lily. But Lily is not drinking it. It can't be wasted." A dark-skinned, chubby boy squeezed in. "How about giving it to me? I haven't eaten breakfast this morning. I'm so hungry." Ivy choked, facing this situation making her blush all over, her whole body resisting. Looking at her appearance, a bold idea flashed in my mind. Perhaps if someone else drinks this milk, the system exchange will also work. "Lily, you cannot drink it, but why throw away my kindness like this?" Ivy suddenly spoke loudly, her eyes red with grievance, tears welling up. "I kindly care about you, that's why I do this. But you give the things I gave you to someone else, it really disappoints me. Are you any different from the snake in the story of the farmer and the snake?" It must be said that a beauty's tears really make people feel pity. The boys who were still noisy just now immediately quieted down. Everyone looked at each other in confusion and finally unanimously pointed the finger at me. "Lily, are you sick in the head?" Quickly apologized to Ivy. "You fat pig, you really have no friends. Ivy treats you so well, but you do this. Today you must drink this milk for me. Otherwise, don't blame me for getting physical." Just at this moment, a line of student council members in uniform suddenly walked in from outside the corridor. The boy at the head of the group of students had short, dark brown hair, amber eyes, and skin as white and pale as early winter snow. I glanced at him and immediately recognized him as the top student in the school rankings, just like me when I first enrolled. Ethan. At the first meeting, Ethan stared at me in a daze. Only after his friends reminded him did he hurriedly withdraw his gaze. That day after school, he waited for me for a long time, wanting to make friends and ask for my contact information. But I was intentionally dragged away by Ivy. Accepting everyone's gaze, he led the other members into our classroom. "Recently, there is an activity, a school corporate joint beauty pageant. Anyone interested can come and get an application form." Ethan's voice was clear and pleasant. Every time he spoke, the girls below couldn't help but cover their mouths, their hearts pounding. The public voting will be in about 2 weeks. The final winner will have the opportunity to sign a contract with a famous management company. Those who intend to step into the entertainment industry can consider it. I'll take one. Ivy stood up. She showed her most beautiful smile and generously walked to Ethan, intentionally moving forward. Her hair carrying a faint fragrance, just brushing past the outstretched arm of the male student. Ethan was stunned, instinctively stepping back 2 steps. Ivy blinked her big, bright eyes. Student. Ethan, may I ask if there are any rules for the competition? I don't understand very well. Can you explain a little bit to me? The teenager was stared at by her like this, his face slightly red, pursing his lips and nodding. After Ethan and the others left, the students in the class reacted and started to discuss excitedly. I heard that Ethan has never been in love. Whoever can win him over will be his first love. I'm so excited. His family is said to be very rich too. He goes to school in a private Joe Royce, a loyal and rich guy. I want to dream of being in love with him and getting married right after graduation. Ivy heard these words and raised her eyebrows disdainfully. I saw it just now. She chased Ethan out of the door and got his contact information. She took out a mirror and carefully examined her face. Her eyes fell on herself again. It seems my nose is not high enough and my breasts are not big enough. I must make Ethan take the initiative, she muttered to herself. Suddenly, she looked up towards me just as the bell for class rang. Ivy only had time to shout to me, "Don't forget to drink the milk." Then she hurriedly ran back to her seat. "Of course," I replied. At that time I was looking out of the window. A staggering figure appeared. A woman with disheveled hair, a crooked mouth, crossed eyes, and freckles all over her face. Because of her ugly appearance, she was abused by her husband all year round. Everyone felt sorry for her and ignored her as she picked up useless household waste at the school. I thought right now she must be more hungry and thirsty and must also want to have a decent face. After school, I found the woman and gave her the strawberry milk and some bread. She stared at these things for a long time. When she saw the school badge on my chest, she didn't care about anything else. She took it and started to gobble it down. I turned to leave when a hoarse voice called me back. "Little girl." I turned my head back, and my hand was stuffed with some crumpled change. "Take it." Thank you, really. I'm sorry, I only have this little bit." She anxiously searched for something in her pocket and then smiled at me. My heart suddenly trembled violently. It had been a long time since someone expressed gratitude to me like this. I didn't say anything, took out 200 yuan, stuffed it into her hand, and then I ran away in one breath. Unconsciously, I walked to the pond in the campus back garden. Suddenly, I felt my face was a little hot. I took out a mirror and was surprised to find that the big pimples on my face had disappeared without a trace. My chin was also much thinner, and I could vaguely see my previous appearance. To avoid alarming anyone, I had to suppress the joy in my heart and put on a mask. In the afternoon, I arrived at class very early and started studying. In my previous life, the thing I regretted most was not being able to take the college entrance examination and realize my dream of entering university. Suddenly, a scream came from the corridor. "Wow! Ivy is amazing. I just saw you and Ethan walking together. So fast. Isn't it only just knowing each other this morning? I've never seen any girl appear beside him before." Someone couldn't help but sigh. Of course. Beauty and God. Talented man and beautiful woman. Really a perfect match. I just want to tsk in admiration. Sure enough, Ethan is the type of person who only likes people with appearances like mine. Whether it's me before the face swap or Ivy now, in fact, his loyalty is only to beauty. What is a school beauty? This time, I will participate in the beauty pageant. Ivy did not hide her ambition at all. By then, I will definitely completely subdue Ethan. It's not like he will take the initiative to confess to me, right? She deliberately walked in front of me, her tone heavier. Youth without a passionate love is considered wasted. Just knowing how to be a bookworm and solve a few math problems is useless in this society. Beauty is justice. I listened to these words, my expression unmoved, only focusing more on solving the problem. Youth not only hides the secret thoughts of teenage boys and girls that cannot be spoken, but also has people like us, who try their best for their dreams with unwavering will. A small and ordinary person like me also has a great dream and ambition. From that day on, Ivy devoted all her energy to pursuing Ethan and preparing for the beauty pageant. She became even more active in using the system to exchange for the little remaining advantages of my appearance. Taking the reason that I needed brain food for studying every morning, she gave me 2 boxes of breakfast milk, and I accepted them all. At noon, I gave them to the woman. It could be clearly seen that my figure quickly became thinner, and my facial features gradually became more beautiful. When classmates asked in surprise, I just lowered my head and said that I had been paying attention to losing weight recently and went to the track field to run every night. Today after school. In the morning, I went to an off-campus bookstore to buy new exercise books. Just now I saw a very beautiful back view and thought it was some beauty I had never met before. Turns out it's you. I was pushed hard from behind, almost falling to the ground. Turning my head, I found that it was Ivy. She was standing with Ethan. The male student looked at her gently, but when he turned to me, he carried obvious disgust. What a coincidence, Lily. Meeting you here again. Why are you wearing a mask? Take it off quickly. Ivy immediately wanted to reach out and take off my mask. I quickly dodged, stepping back 2 steps. Not achieving her goal, her face stiffened slightly, but immediately afterward, she didn't care how many people were present and loudly said, Lily, you are determined to lose weight recently, huh? You lost so much weight, like 50 or 60 pounds. How did you do it? Share your experience with everyone. I recently ate too much with Ethan and got fattened up by him a lot. I'm really worried. She was not wrong. I really saw that her waist was a little thicker. It's just that Ethan probably still had love goggles on, so he didn't see it. Yeah, you've gotten fatter, then eat less. I was too lazy to pay attention to her, and changed to another place to find the exercise book I wanted. Ethan, who had been silent all along, suddenly spoke, his voice very harsh. Lily, you usually always secretly target Ivy. Now, in front of so many people, you can also be like this. Don't you know how to write the word polite? Why don't you quickly apologize to Ivy? Ethan, as the student council president, was always known for his good temper. This was the first time I saw him publicly express his disgust towards someone. Originally, there were quite a few students eavesdropping. Hearing this, they directly stopped in their tracks. I was stunned and difficultly opened my mouth. I targeted her? When did I target her? What am I apologizing for? It's all misunderstandings. All misunderstandings. Ivy immediately said weakly, Lily and I are good friends. She is not jealous of me. Why would she target me? I think everything before must be misunderstandings. She timidly nestled into Ethan's arms. The male student naturally hugged her. Enough, Lily. Are you not jealous of Ivy becoming more and more beautiful and stealing your school beauty title? So you use harsh words to attack her? She treats you so well. But you are indifferent and even instigate others to isolate her. How can your heart be so vicious? Ethan looked at me, his eyes filled with disgust. Let's go, Ivy. No need to bother with this kind of person. You're just too kind. Indeed, appearances reflect the heart. This sentence is indeed not wrong. They left hand in hand. I finally reacted and ran up to block their way. It's really funny. Appearances reflect the heart, right, Ethan? I hope you will always remember these 3 words. I have never been jealous of anyone because I have enough confidence. I am the best around. Bursts of jeers rang out. Because I was too excited, my mask was slightly pulled down, just revealing my completely recovered eyes. For a moment our eyes met. Ethan had a moment of trance. His lips moved, but he didn't say anything, leading Ivy away. Afternoon. The students in the class were still drowsy and sleepy. Ivy carried big bags and small bags and walked in. Ting ting ting. Pastries are here. 1 box is more than 2,000 yuan. Whoever wants to eat, raise your hand. Everyone suddenly woke up. Some patted the table, some shouted. A sharp-eyed girl noticed that Ivy was carrying an LV bag. Hey, this bag is only a little more than 30,000 yuan. Just a little sincerity. Ivy's face was beaming. We are now eating at 5-star restaurants. During this period of time, just the food expenses alone are no less than this bag. Oh right, Ethan also said that after a while, he will take me to buy an HM bag. Oh, Ethan. You call him so intimately. It seems good things are coming soon. So envious of you to be able to be with someone who is both rich and handsome, and he spoils you so much. You don't need to worry about anything in this life. When will you make it public?" The students became even more excited, their gossiping hearts burning fiercely. Ivy glanced sideways at the person who spoke and smiled without saying anything. She deliberately distributed pastries to everyone but deliberately skipped me. I knew she was deliberately making things difficult for me, but I didn't care. The midterm exam results from last week were about to be released. What I cared more about was whether I could achieve a good ranking after this period of effort. Are these pastries important? I can buy them myself in the future. Finally, it was time for evening self-study. The class monitor walked in with a gloomy face. "Results are out. Later, people from the student council will post them outside the door." It's too difficult. I failed so badly. I have no face to be the class monitor anymore. He, who had always been first before, couldn't help but hug his head and cry loudly. Everyone felt their hearts turn cold. Someone said sadly, "It's okay. Even you didn't do well in the exam, then we must be even worse. Our class is just the bottom class. Can't escape it. Let's be at the bottom together. We are going to be last in the whole grade again. The homeroom teacher is probably going to be pissed to death." But the class monitor cried and raised his head, saying, "No. This time there is a dark horse. Woo woo woo. I won't say any more." A few minutes later, a familiar figure appeared outside the window, Ethan, the most outstanding person in the crowd. Pasting a piece of paper on the wall, he stared at it for a long time. After they left, everyone couldn't hold back anymore and ran out to see their rankings. What surprised everyone was that my name was at the top of the list. Moreover, in the grade ranking, I was also in first place. The second place was Ethan, who had consistently been first in the grade many times before. It was also from that day that Ethan suddenly began to have a different view of me. He seemed to pay special attention to my movements. Without good friends, I saw his browsing history for several days in a row. I passed by him in the corridor and could clearly feel the person behind me stopping his footsteps. Even once, when we met on bicycles, I just tried to cycle away quickly. Otherwise, he seemed like he would chase after me to talk to me. Perhaps everyone was now focusing all their energy on studying. The rumors about him and Ivy also gradually subsided. At noon that day, I was very sleepy. After giving the milk to the woman, I went back to the dorm to sleep. Waiting for the alarm clock to ring, I drowsily opened my eyes and habitually picked up the mirror. I decidedly found that my appearance had completely recovered. Fair and smooth skin, clear eyes, even more beautiful than before. My heart beat very fast, and I hurriedly used my computer to fill in the application form for the beauty pageant. Just in time, today was the last day of the application deadline. "Ivy, on the night you are most looking forward to, I will completely shatter all your schemes so that you can also taste the feeling of falling into hell." In the afternoon, I arrived at school. As soon as I entered the classroom, I felt that the eyes of my classmates looking at me were a bit off. After I sat in my seat, two harsh voices directly rang out from behind. "That ugly little thing has lost a lot of weight recently. I thought she wanted to be a good person, but unexpectedly, her heart is still vicious. Move the table behind a bit. I don't want to be near her. I'm afraid I can't help but vomit." I didn't understand what was going on when a mobile phone was thrown in front of me. "Lily, what face do you have to continue staying in school?" It turned out that at noon, the teacher's post had been spread by someone. A video had spread throughout the school. It was the dialogue between me and Ethan that day when he was protecting Ivy. Below the video, there was also an ugly photo of me with a ferocious face, and the caption read, "Let us introduce our famous ugly girl who is always jealous of her friend. Not only has she repeatedly said insulting words, but also created several accidents to ruin her friend's appearance. Knowing that her friend is about to be with a god, she becomes even more jealous. In front of everyone, she scolds her friend, causing the god to be angry and protect her. One stone stirred up 1,000 waves. Below, hundreds of comments were built up, all of them cursing me. Comment section reactions. Ivy, I don't know. But Ethan, I know very well. The student council president with excellent character. To be able to make him angry like this, it must be no one else. Well, will she not be in love with Ethan and become even more jealous of her friend? Being friends with this kind of person is terrible. Although knowing that Ethan has a girl he likes already makes my heart hurt, I don't want to see this kind of farce even more. This photo, one look at it makes me want to vomit. This kind of ugly girl should just go die. Really embarrassing. I directly stood up, preparing to call the police. All of this was fabricated. Things I have not done. I will absolutely not admit. Let the law return my innocence. The mastermind Ivy was obviously panicked. She didn't know why, but she was also wearing a mask this afternoon. Currently, she hurriedly wanted to call me back but could only make a hoarse oh sound. This farce was stopped when the head teacher ran over, preventing me from calling the police. After one class period, I saw this post quietly disappear. But almost the whole school knew about this. People who didn't know me also thoroughly associated the name Lily with the vicious ugly girl. Ethan came to our classroom. His eyes were still the same, only with a worried expression. Ivy, I can't contact you today. No matter what, calling you I couldn't get through either. I just found out that you blocked me at some point. I even thought you wanted to break up with me. Seeing the bulletin board, I knew what you had gone through. I don't want you to hide from me and face these things alone. Tell me, can I be by your side? I will protect you. These words could be called a deep confession, which moved all the students in the class. But Ivy was terrified, covering her mask, wanting to escape. Obviously, you were cold to me before. Let's talk about anything later. I'm not feeling well now. I want to go to the bathroom. But everyone firmly believed that she was being forced by me, and didn't dare to reveal my actions in front of everyone. It's okay, Ivy. We have many people here today. You can rest assured and speak your mind. We will stand up for you. Lily, this cheap thing, quickly apologized to Ivy. In the chaos, I don't know who used force to push me. My whole body lost control and leaned forward, taking advantage of the situation to forcefully pull down Ivy's mask. All the students who saw the appearance under the mask gasped. Because under the mask was a face full of freckles and acne. Even her facial features had become much more ordinary, completely unrecognizable as the beauty once called the school beauty. Ethan's eyes froze, and the sincerity just now instantly turned into a conditioned reflex, stepping back 2 steps. Ethan, it's me. This is allergies. I ate bad food before and got allergies. It will be fine in 2 days. Ivy hurriedly said, her face flushed. She habitually shed tears of pity, trying to gain sympathy. But now, losing her beautiful appearance, her crying only made people disgusted. Some classmates even said naively, "Is what the bulletin board said true? Did Lily ruin Ivy's face? Lily, is it because you can't stand others being better than you? So you want everyone around you to be as ugly as you?" Things had come to this point. Ivy could only grit her teeth and pour all the dirty water on me. Yes, it's because of Lily. After contacting her, my face started to get pimples, and it became more and more serious. "Lily, tell me, what exactly did you do to me?" she shouted, forcefully pulling down the mask on my face. Originally, Ivy wanted to use my ugly appearance to highlight herself. But when my mask fell to the ground, the smugness in the depths of her eyes instantly turned into uncontrollable horror. How could it be like this? Because currently, I was possessing a face that could be compared to a living beauty. Reborn for 2 lifetimes, I was completely confident in my current appearance. Even if placed in showbiz, it would be top tier. All the students first took a deep breath, and immediately after, a huge shock. Loudly disgusted, now it was time for me to return everything Ivy had done to me, one by one. I bit my lip, pretending to be about to burst into tears, and sobbed. "Ivy, I used to look like this before. It was only later that I got sick and took stimulant drugs, so I got fat. Now I'm restoring my appearance. Why aren't you happy for me? Why can't you? It has to be said that this world truly follows beauty is justice. Before, as soon as I opened my mouth, everyone either ignored or disliked me. But now, everyone instantly quieted down, almost not taking their eyes off me. Listening to me finish my sentence, the male students were the first to change. Right. I remember very clearly. Classmate Lily really looked like this before. Ah, that damn disease is really hateful. It made you like that. But it's really good that you have recovered now. Classmate Lily must have been frightened just now. What do you want to drink? I'll treat you. Want hot or cold? Ivy. Is she crazy? My goddess looks like this. How can she be jealous of her? Really funny. Anyone with eyes can see who is jealous of whom, right? Even the most mischievous sports student in the class directly rolled up his sleeves and said, "Who dared to push Lily just now? Come out here for me. I have to teach him a lesson." Ethan's eyes were also completely fixed on me. His Adam's apple moved violently. He licked his lips, wanting to open his mouth but didn't know what to say. Currently, Ivy had been completely thrown to the back of everyone's minds. But I didn't intend to let her go. The confrontation. Ivy, the teachers at school all said I was jealous of you. But how could I have time to be jealous of you? I just wholeheartedly wanted to restore my original appearance. Lily, don't pretend to be innocent anymore. Ivy was completely provoked by me. You were jealous before that Ethan liked me. Don't think. I don't know when you first enrolled you also paid attention to him. I became like this, it must be because you harmed me. You know it in your heart, so don't put on an innocent look in front of me. But what she didn't expect was that in Ethan's eyes, a different kind of light flashed in an instant. You said classmate Lily also paid attention to me when she enrolled. Is that true? Fairly speaking, Ethan, except for being a beauty fanatic, had no other shortcomings. Beautiful appearance, good family background, good grades, strong personal ability. But Lily, I was not inferior at all. Appearance as a gift will fade with time. I would not accept such a superficial person. Of course not. I laughed. Student Ethan, Ivy is wholeheartedly devoted to you. I still wish you two happiness. I still have a lot of homework to do. Excuse me for not wasting any more time. The teenager's eyes dimmed a little. Then, when you have time, I still want to invite you to a meal to apologize. When passing by Ivy, I glanced at her and saw her face angry to the point of trembling. She glared at me and asked in a volume only the two of us could hear. Why? Why did my face become like this? I just wanted to laugh out loud at the desperate woman. During this period of time, after listening to my advice, she had returned to find her husband and divorced. She wanted to fight for custody of her child and return to her hometown to live peaceful days. This truly meant that Ivy would never know why she had become like this. Ivy, don't look at me like that. I'm scared. Pretending to be pitiful. I remember you in high school seemed to be almost like this, right? Could it be that you were always wearing makeup before, and now you're showing your bare face? Oh, I won't say anything. A series of exclamations rang out. Ivy completely collapsed. Lily, I must kill you. She used all her strength to push me. If it weren't for a classmate being quick-witted and pulling her back, she would have wanted to fight me desperately. But my leg was still hit hard against the edge of the table. In an instant, blood flowed profusely. Ethan immediately picked me up in a princess carry and ran towards the infirmary. This time I resolutely called the police. The school persuaded me to let it go but had no choice but to expel Ivy. Fortunately, I only had a skin injury and no bones were injured. In the infirmary, Ethan watched the doctor bandage me, his eyes red. Does it hurt? He asked. I shook my head. Such a long wound. It would be strange if it didn't hurt. He bent down and gently blew on me. What are you doing? I was startled. Don't be afraid. I just feel your leg is very beautiful. It shouldn't suffer this kind of pain. Everything about you is perfect like a delicate sculpture. I never thought a girl like you would really exist in life. You are like a beautiful scenery. Ethan finished speaking in one breath, bowed his head, and stood up. Stepping back 2 steps, he bowed deeply to me. I am very sorry for saying those words to you at that time. Sorry. I know maybe you don't want to see me now, I will leave. But I still hope you can give me a chance to get to know you again. I didn't say anything, watching him leave. Ethan walked to the door and paused for a moment. But I used silence to tell him the answer. After he left, I set my social media settings to do not search and add friends. In the following time, I still seized every minute and second to study. Regarding the previous matter, everyone who apologized to me, I all express forgiveness. The classmates, grateful for my tolerance and effort, also followed my example and plunged into the 10th study life. Everyone exchanged knowledge together, studied together, and ran in the track field together in the evening to exercise. I really felt that the class had become a collective. 2 weeks later, the beauty pageant took place as scheduled. The moment I stepped onto the stage, all the lights focused on me. The whole audience was so quiet that you could hear everyone's heavy breathing. On the big screen, the number of votes everyone gave me was growing crazily. Ethan also abused his privileges, leading people from the student council to especially hold up signs cheering for me. I was a dazzling star unmatched by anyone. The people below all shouted my name, shouting in turn, "Goddess, I love you. So beautiful." I took a deep breath of the atmosphere of tonight. This was the life I should have. Full of flowers and applause without endless darkness. The future was extremely bright. After stepping down from the stage, a younger student told me that reporters were waiting for interviews in a certain classroom. "Lily, hurry. The reporters are waiting for you," telling me to quickly go there. I originally intended to change my clothes first, but he urged too urgently, so I had to pick up my dress and run in the direction he pointed. But waiting until I arrived, I found that the classroom was empty. There was no one inside. At this time it was already about 10 p.m., and the corridor lights behind had been turned off long ago. In the silence, the sound of deliberately lowered footsteps rang out. A clear, ominous premonition rose in my heart. That kind of fear and despair that strangled me in my previous life enveloped me. My heart beat very fast and I immediately turned around to run. But a hand reached out from the corner, firmly grabbing my neck, pressing me alive into the classroom. That resentful gaze, it was Ivy again. Her face, compared to a few weeks ago, looked even more terrifying. She took a step forward and slapped me hard in the face. "Cheap thing." I said it. Why did Ethan suddenly alienate me at that time? It turned out he had taken a fancy to you. When did you find out the secret of the system? Why did my face become like this? The tip of my tongue lightly licked the place that was hit. I looked at her coldly and said, "This is all self-inflicted. From the day you attacked me, you should have guessed there would be today." "I'm not reconciled," she shouted crazily. Obviously, I was about to be with Ethan. Why did this mistake happen? Obviously, I was about to become the beauty pageant winner. I could step into showbiz and climb to the peak of life. "Lily, you cheap thing. Why did you suddenly ruin all of this? You deliberately don't want me to live well, right? You just want to steal everything I have, right?" I calmly opened my mouth. "I have no intention of stealing your things. These things originally did not belong to you. You are crazy." As soon as these words came out, Ivy suddenly laughed. "You're right. I'm crazy. No matter what, things have come to this point. I've already been forced to a dead end. The West River. Every year there are people drowning. It is said that there are also students who fail exams who jump down." She gloomily looked at me. "Lily, you say. If I throw you down there tonight, how long will it take for the body to be washed away by the current?" While talking, those boys with dyed blue and red hair also entered the classroom. It turned out that she had long relied on her appearance to hook up with a group of young punks outside the school. In my previous life, it was at this time when I was running that I was beaten unconscious by this group of people and thrown into the river to drown. But alive in this life, I finally clearly saw the faces of these people. That unfamiliar younger punk was also standing among them. "Lily, you're done for," Ivy shouted triumphantly, her eyes seeming to spit fire. "Don't you like to seduce men? Tonight I will let you enjoy it enough. Today is your death anniversary." "Really?" I smiled, raising my phone. The screen displayed an ongoing call, and on the other side, the number 110 was clearly visible. From the moment that unfamiliar younger punk called me, I started to feel something was wrong. Now, the smell of smoke on his body clearly didn't belong to this school, so I had already called the police at that time. Haven't you forgotten? Tonight, the police are at the campus gate. Everyone's faces turned pale as they looked at me. "Police! Arrest them!" Police lights shone on those stunned faces. The police arrested Ivy and that group of people. Hearing all her threats, they had irrefutable evidence. However, because no actual harm had been done, they were only fined and had their records kept. But that was enough. She had the system but could not find the woman again, so she would not be able to fix her face. She would forever be as ugly as her personality. With that kind of personality, she would eventually pay a deserved price. Facing the ladder of support thrown by the management company, I accepted, but with one condition: to let me complete my high school program first, complete the college entrance examination, and be admitted to university. I wanted to have a complete life. As for Ethan, I heard that he had gone abroad to study. This was the path that had been arranged for him as a rich kid long ago. Before leaving, he was unwilling and waited downstairs in the dorm, asking me if I had ever been moved by him when we first enrolled. I shook my head. He then left dejectedly. Before leaving, he said to me gloomily, "Just now, consider it me giving myself a last chance. If you answered yes, I would not hesitate to give up the opportunity to go abroad and stay with you." I smiled and shook my head, turning to leave. In fact, I lied to him. Facing such a handsome and refined face, which girl would not be moved a little? But I was always very clear about what I wanted. Love cannot bring anything. I don't need to rely on others to live. Not to mention, his initial personality followed Ivy. And then, when he saw me become beautiful again, he jumped to me again? Really, thinking of people like that just made me feel disgusted inside. So I don't need to rely on anyone. Myself is good enough. I can create a beautiful scenery that belongs to me alone.